What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Dragon Destinations. My name is Drew Heath, the AD at Drew School. As always, we bring on people who are alumni from Drew School and now have moved on to other phases of their life. Today, we have one of the few, I believe, only 1,000-point plus scorers in basketball history at school, scored over 2,000 points. I believe he's on the first team to go to NCS in school history for the basketball team. Went on to play at Bowdoin University up in Maine, and he is a current VP at West Cove, an investment banking company. We have Scott Schulkin today. Scott, what's up?
Hey, Drew, appreciate you having me.
Thank you for jumping on. You are kind of a legend within the current basketball team. A few years ago, I got all the stats together, and your name was definitely on top of the list for a bunch of categories, and the 1,000 points or 2,000 points in your case being one of them. So with that being, just want to jump right into it. What was one of your favorite memories playing basketball at Drew School?
One of my favorite memories, that's a good question. It's actually an easy answer. So we once played Urban at Kezar, and Urban probably, I don't know if they still play at Kezar. If I bet they still do. That's like obviously like one of the most fun gyms to play at. We were playing Urban, it was my senior year, and my brother, who is 2 years younger than me, Eric, I think he did one of these as well. He was on the team, and our good friend Andrew Wallace, who's probably in the top 10 of scoring, if not top 5 as well. We combined for like I don't know 75 or 80 points, the three of us together. That was the highest scoring game of my career, my high school career. I think I had 41 or 42 points, and Eric had 17 or 18, and Andrew had like 20 or 25. So like
Okay.
a combination of like all of those things plus at Kezar with like all of our friends and family, like that was probably the best memory from like my playing days at Drew.
Was there, speaking to your brother, was there another game that just you and him scored all the points?
Yeah, there was. So there was it's actually kind of a funny story. Like I forget why Andrew couldn't play. He might have been hurt or something like that. But um I was being recruited at the time by Kenyon College in Ohio, where my brother actually ended up getting recruited by and going to that college, but they had come originally out to see me my senior year. And because Andrew couldn't play, Eric and I ended up beating Gateway. Well, I mean, obviously we didn't beat them by ourselves, but like we scored all the points.
Yeah.
So there was like a little SF Chronicle or SF Examiner article. I can't remember which one. And the title was Two Enough for Drew. And it had I scored more than Eric, and I don't want again that's just the sibling rivalry, but his picture was in the article. So
Yeah.
that actually happened a few times where like we were in the paper for stuff, and Eric's photo was the photo,
Yeah.
despite me scoring more points. But nonetheless, I'm happy for him, and that's just and that was also an exciting day.
Oh man, I love that the sibling rivalry never stops.
No, it doesn't.
That's awesome. So you had the storied career at Drew School. You scored a bunch of points. What was the decision to go across the country and attend a college in Maine?
Yeah, I mean, I was fortunate enough to I played, a lot at Drew. I played on multiple AAU teams, and I basically decided that my freshman or sophomore year that two things. One, I know I wanted to play college basketball, and the second was I wanted to help it like pay for school at some point. And so the combination of those two things, I was fortunate enough to have some really good coaches both at Drew and outside of Drew. I attended like a couple of these, Division III prospects camps across the country. There was one at Williams College. You know, I uh, I don't know. I don't know if I would do it again. I don't miss those winters at all. Bowdoin's a great school. I'm glad I went there. But I wanted to go to New England. Just I think that was important to me at the time. And I wanted to go to the best academic school I could go to. At the same time, like a really competitive basketball league, and the NESCAC, New England Small College Athletic Conference, is like one of the top D3 leagues, and I think it was just a perfect like athletic and academic fit.
Yeah. As a former Northeast guy myself, I don't miss those winters either. And especially that far up north too. You are getting feet of snow. It's not inches or a foot. You are getting feet. What are some good memories from your times in college? Like being on the team and playing.
Yeah, I would say like my freshman year was pretty exciting. Obviously, it's like your first year of college basketball. It's obviously intimidating. I was, maybe like the fourth or fifth tallest guy on the Drew team, and I was the shortest guy, or the second shortest guy on the college team by like a considerable margin. So that took some getting used to. But the best memory, we actually lost the NESCAC championship game like my
Mm,
freshman year. So we were ranked, I don't know, 23rd or 24th in the country. We beat the number one ranked team, Amherst, who had like 6 or 7 All-Americans. We beat them by 2 or 3 at their place uh, in the semifinal, and then ended up losing the next day in the championship. But I mean, just to beat the number one, the top 6 or 7 of their guys went to go play in Germany the next year.
gotcha.
So they
Yeah,
were like really solid basketball players. And so that's probably my best memory.
yeah. No, it's funny. That's one of the main things we talk about with the kids that are trying to go play in college in whatever sport. It's the speed of the game, but also like the size changes too. So if you're a 6'2" guy in high school, you're going to be one of the shorter guys on the team in college for sure. I guess rewinding a little bit, if you could go back to like your eighth grade mind, why should someone choose Drew School if they're looking to attend or pick an independent school in San Francisco?
Yeah, I mean, I'll look at it through like two lenses, I think, and I think they're intertwined. I'll start with the academic side. From a purely academic side, I think, obviously like rigorous curriculum, like really bright students you're with, teachers who care about you, obviously optimal like student teacher ratio, you're getting the attention you need, and there's a lot of call it ancillary services and like help to kind of get you the best education that candidly probably money can buy. That's number one. And then on the athletic side, I think it's very similar. The benefit of being at a small school is, you have the opportunity to really shine in whatever it is that you do, whether that's athletics, whether that's theater, whether that's arts, etc. And I was like the beneficiary of that. So being at a small school, I was able to play varsity all 4 years. I was a leader and a captain for 3 of those years. So again, just the ability to shine, the ability to really, play with a lot of other kids who are passionate about sports, but also passionate about other things. I think that's probably the best thing about Drew is you have there's a kaleidoscope of individuals.
Mm.
And I think that's like the best part, and you become like a more well-rounded person through that experience.
Yeah, that is beautifully said. A kaleidoscope of different people. That was awesome. I think we might use that for marketing material coming up soon. You kind of touched on your journey earlier before. What advice would you have for a junior or senior at Drew that's thinking about playing collegiate sports, or even more specifically like collegiate basketball?
Yeah, I would say this. There's a few things. One, well, I'm gonna sound old right now, but I grew up in the flip phone era, so
Mm,
there wasn't a lot of ability to tape yourself. So it was really hard to get like highlight tapes. Obviously, like that's not an issue for kids now with iPhones and whatnot. And so I would say like the hardest thing to do, at least when I was in high school, was market yourself, and that's what you really need to do in order to these Division 3 schools. Or I mean, if you're like a solid Division 1 athlete, like for the most part, they'll find you. But you have to go to the camps, you have to market yourself, you have to be proactive around interacting with the coaching staff, like emailing the coaching staff, giving them a call, saying you're going to be on campus, or sending them a tape, etc. To your point around, the game is different at that level. You have to also understand that, you know, typically in high school, you're doing it for fun. You're doing it like as a hobby, quote unquote, like extracurricular. And even at the level that I played, which was Division 3, it's there's a lot that goes into it, and there's a lot of sacrifice that goes into it, both like physically, mentally, and emotionally. And so you have to be prepared for that. I don't know that you can be. You have to just kind of live it, but um, it's not the same as going to practice after school with your friends and then like doing your homework after that. That's like it's very like regimented, and you have to like get used to that. And if you're going to, any of the schools that are highly like academic at the same time, like you don't get to slack off because you're an athlete. I think that's also the biggest, like in college, that's the biggest adjustment is you still have that like paper due the next day. So even if you're tired from practice, you still got to allocate your time, and time management is like the most important thing.
Yeah. No, I think that for the kids that we do have that go on to play in college for whatever sport at whatever level, we do tell them it's going to feel like a part-time job.
For
Uh,
sure.
you're going to have your schoolwork, you're going to have your social life, but you're going to have this commitment where, once again, regardless of the level, the school or the coaching staff or your teammates are going to expect you to abide to that commitment.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So lastly, just kind of want to talk about what you currently do. Was that something you knew you wanted to do when you were deciding to go to college? How'd you fall into it? And yeah, what is your current role at West Cove?
Yeah. No, I definitely never thought I would be doing investment banking. But so I went to college, I graduated Drew, went to Bowdoin, didn't really know what I wanted to do, had, thought I wanted to be a lawyer, did government and legal studies, so basically political science in college. When I graduated, I came back to San Francisco and worked at a charter school called Creative Arts Charter School, actually right by Drew, maybe 10 blocks away, for my former basketball coach at Drew, actually. So
Okay.
like full circle. He was my homeroom teacher and my basketball coach for my freshman and sophomore year. I stayed there a year, and then I moved to Los Angeles, took a job at a real estate investment management company, moved back up to San Francisco, worked at First Republic Bank for a few years, and then went to business school at UCLA. Following that's what kind of introduced me to A, investment banking, and B, West Cove, which I helped found the firm, which is like a healthcare focused investment bank, so boutique investment bank. All of my, I guess what I would say to any, Drew alumni, and all of my jobs, all of my opportunities have come through my connections with whatever school I was affiliated with, like literally every single job, basically. And so, those connections matter both at the high school level, at your college level, at your, grad school, or any kind of community that you're a part of. Um, just take advantage of them, because there are people that out there that want to help you, regardless of class, regardless of decade, etc. And so now, yeah, I'm now a vice president at West Cove Partners. So long story short is we help healthcare companies basically sell to investors. So
No, I think that's important to know because on the flip side, I don't think a lot of kids currently in high school are thinking about when the ball stops bouncing or when you hang up the cleats in whatever sport. So I think it is important to hear your story, to see this guy was dropping buckets in high school and college, and now he's doing something else. So no, I think it is important. But Scott, thank you so much for doing this. I know there's a bunch of hoopers currently at the school that are dying to see this one. So I appreciate you coming on. Everybody else, this is Dragon Destinations. Catch you guys next time.
thanks for
Peace.
having me.